Hey there, my little grasshoppers. So you've got a question about failure. And I want to say this right off the bat. Failure is okay. Failure will happen. And success is not guaranteed. So learn to expect failure is the first thing that I would teach you about failure. Learn to expect it. Now, there are three things that I would say that you need to know about failure on top of that. Um, and I mean, honestly, we could talk about, the negative aspects of failure. You know, if you don't do your job right, that kind of thing. But um, that's not the lesson that I want you to learn about failure. The true lesson that I want you to learn is about three different aspects that failure actually teaches us as individuals as we are going out through life, because that's what these videos are for, to teach you what life is going to expect from you and how can you react out of that. And failure is something that you are going to encounter every single day. So how are you going to learn from these failures? As I mentioned, there are three things about failure that you should learn. The first thing here, I have them written down. So failure allows for experience and credibility. So let me put it in this context. So if you have a job and say you're actually like this, say you're training for a job, right? Whatever it can be. And you're being taught how to do a certain process. You're continuously failing that process, but you remember you're in training, so this is your time to fail. In training, you are taught that process so that you can fail in a safe environment and then be taught to succeed from those failures. That's what I mean by experience. Failure teaches us and allows for experience and credibility. So the more experience and so more, in a way, the more experience you get at failure, the more chances you have at success. Wild, right? But follow along with me here. So let's apply this to, say, if you were to go to the doctor's office and the doctor walks up to you and says, you know, I've never done a single simulation. I've never trained on how to do a heart surgery, but you need a heart surgery and I'm going to be the surgeon to do it. How confident would you be in his experience on that surgery? You wouldn't be very confident. Let's keep it real. You would not be very confident in that doctor. But say another doctor walks in, says, hey, I've had 10 plus years of experience in heart surgeries. I know exactly what to do. I'm going to be the doctor to do that surgery. I'm going to be the surgeon. Which of these two doctors are you going to go with? You're going to go with the one with more experience. Why? It's not that the doctor with experience has had failures on the operating table. It's more that he's gone through your training. He's gone through all the necessary steps. He has learned where the failures were, and therefore he knows how to avoid those pitfalls. He knows where to go. And therefore his chances of success are far greater than the person that has zero experience, who does not know where failure can occur. This also leads to credibility. The man who has 10 plus years as a doctor has far more credibility than the person who just got there on the job. That's what failure does for an individual. So learn that and learn that quickly, because in the job field, whenever you get to a job, one of the first things they're going to ask you, my little grasshoppers here, one of the first things they're going to ask you is what kind of experience you have. They're asking what kind of failures, what kind of rate of failure and success have you gotten in whatever field that you are going into. So that's one. The second thing that failure teaches us is it teaches us adaptation. It teaches us how to change our approach. I don't know how to build an engine, but just keeping it 100 here. If you were to construct an engine, right, and you're putting it together from scratch, and you turn it on, and it just clanks out, it doesn't work. Well, you have to take that engine apart once more, put it back together, and see what is different. What did you do last time, and how can you change that? What didn't work? And then alter that so that it does work, and then start the engine again. Engine fails again. All right, let's start over. You are learning to adapt. You are learning to change your approach on how that engine was built and how you can make it work. Another example would be if you are trying to bake a cake. You know, you've got the instructions in front of you. You have all the ingredients. You put the ingredients together. Your goal is to have that cake rise to the appropriate level. But when you put it in the oven, you bake it for X amount of minutes. It comes out. It's like a sloppy Joe or something like that. It's like a pancake. It didn't rise. Well, you got to look at those ingredients. You got to look at what you did and see where you went wrong. How much of X amount of ingredients did you use? That is what failure teaches us. It teaches us to change our approach so that we can get to success. That is an important lesson to learn because you will face failure, and you need to have the critical thinking to understand, okay, what went wrong that caused it to fail? And then let's start over. The last and final thing that failure teaches us, and it is the hardest thing to teach anyone in this day and age. Again, another reason why it's important that you ask this question of me. Failure teaches us humility. Let me put it like this. If you wake up any particular day and everything is like everything you do is, no matter what it is, you just succeed at, no matter what, it doesn't matter. You want to write a book, you type it out, it's done. You want to take a test for, I don't know, math test or whatever test. You take a test, you pass on the first try. You don't get a single answer wrong. You get it every time. Not because you're smart, but just because you got it. What is that actually causing in you? It is causing you to become prideful, where I can do no wrong. I'm like a god, because everything just is success. Everything just happens every time I put my hands to it. That causes a prideful and arrogant person. Failure teaches us, well, let me rephrase that. Failure provides the opportunity to teach us humility. The reason I rephrase that opportunity to teach humility is because that is a mental mindscape. That is a mental mindset that you must have. If you fail at something and you decide to become depressed, or even if you decide to, that failure wasn't my fault, that's prideful. So you need to have the mindset and the understanding that you need to be humble when you fail. Failure teaches us humility by telling us that success is never guaranteed. I'm going to say that again. Success is never guaranteed. So you must learn humility. And that is what failure provides the opportunity for. That is the most important lesson here in this. When you're going to face these failures, having these three things in mind. Is failure going to give me the opportunity for experience and credibility? Is it going to give me the opportunity to be humble? And is it going to allow me to, change and adapt? Looking at these three things will allow you to become more successful in the future. There is not going to be an opportunity where, well, let me rephrase. Failure provides a lot of opportunities. You have to learn how to look at failure a particular way in order to see what those opportunities are. That is also a reason why doing this video on failure for you is good. I learned failure the hard way, and I would argue that the vast majority of people learn failure the hard way. So I hope that you guys take these videos and this lesson on failure and really take advantage of this. This is the greatest portion. This is the greatest level of success that I could give you, is teaching you how to fail and how to fail gracefully, so that when you do succeed, you continue to succeed over and over and over again, so that you don't become prideful. You look back on your past failures and be like, I grew from that. When someone says, oh, you're very successful in everything that you do, you can be like, yeah, because you're seeing the end result. You should have seen me when I just kept bombing it every single time. Like 3 years ago, I was it's failure after failure after failure. It was only for the past couple of years where you've really seen my success. You're going to be able to have that. Let's be honest. You're going to be able to have a pride in your success. We could talk about pride in another video if you want, if you ask me that question. But failure, I'm trying to remember. There was a quote given to me by my basketball coach. His name was Coach Terrence. I hope one day you'll meet him. He had a quote. I'm trying to remember what it is. Give me a sec. That's what it was. You pay the price for success, or you will pay the price for failure. I'm going to say that again. You either pay the price for success, or you will pay the price for failure. And I took that and I said, and I thought to myself, what are all the things that I need to do? What are the sacrifices? What is the cost that I need to do, that I need to pay in order to succeed? Because I don't want to fail. And like I said, success is never guaranteed, but you can still work towards success. And that's why I said adaptation is an important thing. I like to focus on adaptation. I like to focus on changing things, finding different ways to make things succeed. That is my specialty. But learning to succeed comes from learning from your failures. And that is the end result of everything you're going to accomplish. You must first learn to fail before you can succeed. So at the end of the day, we have only two things that we accomplish. We accomplish failure, or we accomplish success. And the ends of those things is our life. We live our life based on these things. If we're going to boil it down to the absolute bare minimums, you either succeed or you fail. That's life. And it's going to be a tough lesson. So I really hope this video gives you the greatest chance of success. But of course, no matter whether you fail or whether you succeed, Daddy always loves you. And I'll see you soon.